Here we go.
Good evening and welcome to the June 11th, 2014 Communication Commission meeting. It is, we are opening at 7:05. Well, welcome everyone. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda as presented?
Yes.
Are there any amendments, or would I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. And second?
I'll second.
And Sharon seconds it. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay? All right, it has passed, our agenda.
I'm going to have to handwrite because I can't open this up.
Okay, and we will be a little slower.
So
It has been approved.
Lauren moved
And
and Richard second?
Richard?
That's correct.
Okay,
I'm
great.
Sharon, I think.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
Either way.
I wrote down Sharon.
At the same time.
Okay.
We did it. Okay, all right. Toss a coin?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okey-doke. Let's see now. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Are there any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of this May 2014 meeting.
Lauren has a motion to approve, and second would be? Second is by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion is passed. Terrific. All righty. We're moving along, and now we'll have a report of the board and standing committees. Mr. Fournier. Off. Okay.
We just went through the busiest month of the year, mainly because of Island Fest. We had a very safe and productive Island Fest. Since we last, I made a list this evening, since the last time we got together, the productions that myself and the crew have worked on. Over the course of the last month, we have worked on the fireworks. We provided a DVD for the mega screen that was in the Island Fest. We've worked on the Island Eye for Pam Perci. We produced 4 segments for that. We did 2 kayak promos. Trying to read my own writing here, so I apologize. During the Island Fest, we taped the children's choir. We taped the Dance Girl Seal. We taped the junior high or middle school jazz band, the high school jazz band. We taped, I can't remember the initials, but the children's, the kids' rock and roll band on Sunday. We did the parade. We got the car show. We've got enough footage for 3 years of highlight tapes. We did it's tentatively called Megan's Go to Island Fest. We took the GoPro out and taped another highlight show based from the perspective of the GoPro camera, which is looking pretty interesting. We have about 10 new shows that have been played since the last time we got together, and we still, today, as of today, we have 9 projects that we have to edit, which include the police gun safety feature we taped today, and actually 4 gun safety features that we taped today, and we also taped the police on the reserve and the honor guard that they have. Let me continue here. We produced, we didn't produce, Mr. Page produced a feature on Girl Seal. It's 15 minutes long. Is it the Nature Conservancy that got us all the pictures, Joe?
That was for the Island Beautification Committee.
All right, it's got 104 pictures to music that we're running, kind of like to just sit back and relax, listen to the music, and look at what's beautiful on Girl Seal.
Oh, that'll be useful for the website.
Yeah, we plan on putting it on. We also did a piece on West Gardens that we're running as of now. We also have one in the can on St. James Church and one on, we went out on Memorial Day and taped boating, and it's just one of those pieces. If you have AT&T on there, a lot of their channels, you can just watch, a feature on Southwest Texas or fish swimming, and this has music and it has something to do with Grosse Ile. So we got a couple of those pieces done. I just mentioned the gun safety. Also, Jane Fidel from the Bike Commission. She's been out working hard promoting both the brick sales and they had a bike event. So she produced a couple videos. We're running those. And in the last couple days, I've had conversations coming up with I think the lady's name is Jennifer Flores.
Vidal.
She's producing she wants to do a big homecoming event in October, and she's starting a campaign to try to get as many Grosse Ile people back for homecoming. I know she wants to work with the Island Fest Commission, the Festival Commission with the Centennial Celebration, so I don't know if she's contacted you yet, but
Not yet.
I've given her your information.
Okay.
But she wants to so we're starting to work with her and her campaign that she's calling Legacy. And there was one more that I wanted to mention. The Island Fest Commission, as part of the celebration, has agreed to a historic program with Mr. McPherson, and he's contacted me, and we've started pre-production talks and meetings and what we're going to do. So it's about 22 different activities we've done since we last got together, and that's basically what we've been up to. And that's basically my report.
Couple question. There was a group, I think they were from Canada, who had the rubber helicopter that was taking pictures. Did you by any chance get introduced to them? If not?
Is that the ones that was working with the cars?
Yes.
The fast track? No, we did get the GoCam in the Ferrari and have a ride with the Ferrari. So.
Oh, very good. Did you get to go?
Oh, is that fast track?
I have to have a talk with her later this summer. My granddaughter was sweet talking the carnies and any place that she wanted to take, work with the crew and take pictures. So the carnies gave her a free ride, so I'm going to have to talk with her.
Well, it sounds you've been very busy, Ted, as always.
I have a small favor to ask. Is there air conditioning in this room?
I have no idea. I'm not copping out, but I have been ordered not to touch anything as far as that.
Thermostat is concerned?
I-
Jerry and I are having
Hot flashes.
tropical vacation there. Can we open the door?
I love it.
Sure.
If we can open the door, that might help. It's always interesting. Well, while Ted's busy doing that, Mrs. Smith, would you like to give your report, please?
Yeah, just a few things. Island Fest, obviously went very well, and I appreciate all the hard work that Ted and his crew put into it. I think it'll give us lots of promotional material for the future, which is great. Two other things is, he mentioned the brick sale. If any of you guys have any graduates or nieces, nephews, grandkids. I don't think anybody gives one without having grandkids. But they would make a great commemorative gift. Also, I want to remind everybody that the Centennial Celebration stickers are on sale at Township Hall and the Recreation Department for $1. And that's basically it. I'm keeping it brief.
Oh, thank you. And I personally want to say how much I enjoyed that Jumbotron at Island Fest. I thought that was great. Something different. I really enjoyed the whole way it looked. It was very nice.
Just Lauren, I'm typing away here. You said the Centennial Celebration stickers?
Yep.
$1 a piece?
$1, yep.
And at Township Hall?
Township Hall as well as the rec department.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
Chairman's been busy working on a few things. I got a call from a gentleman from Skyweb who does Wi-Fi's for marinas, out of the blue. He somehow got my name, and I met with him, and they're going to give us a bid. Again, something we need, and as I'm finding out that the marina is not as full as it used to be, so maybe a few amenities might help, and this might be something that, Wi-Fi might be the thing. So we're trying to collect more information, and I have spoken with the other gentleman, and he is diligently working on getting me a bid for the Commons, at least, because there is an event coming up in July, and it would be nice if we could have something in the Commons for the people by then. But it's right now something we're just looking into. But I wanted to let everybody know that there are a lot of people out there that seem to be doing Wi-Fi more and more for marinas and other places, and it'll be interesting. I did have a call from Revise regarding the site map, and we had a few questions about how things were pointed, and they already had our approval, but I'm going to officially put it in writing and put a caveat in that if one of our pointers does not work, which they all do, to my knowledge, we'll go through them again, they will make sure they do work. And so that's really important, that everything on the site map flows to a page. So we're working on that, and let's see what else. Status of progress. Okay. Well, we'll just go into that. The inner page, I passed that out to everybody. I received it, I think, Saturday. And it looks a lot like our homepage, and I'd like everybody's opinion on what you think of it and what you would like to see, or is this what you want to see? So why don't we start? Sharon?
Yeah, as you said, it looks very much like what we're already looking at. I mean, I'd like to see something different.
Okay. All righty.
I mean, it's a beautiful picture, but I think we need something else.
Okay. Laura?
Well, I expected the masthead to look the same, but I also expected an area for a photo, multiple photos, something other than this, and it surprises me that it's taken as long to deliver this particular piece, but yeah.
Okay, I'm getting your drift. And in fact, I think the reason that I asked where it was when I got the call regarding the site map, I just said, by the way, how come if this is supposed to turn around so quickly, it's taking so long? And they said, let me check into it. And suddenly that afternoon I got something. So it was one of those, maybe somebody forgot. Yeah. But, I try not to bug them. But I agree with you about photos, but it's not my turn. Richard, please.
I think photos would be very nice. If this is I would like to know what the font they're going with. Because that's really important.
I mean, for the filler, because that's just that's not the font they're going to use. That's just a filler.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, it's Greek, I think. It's a filler. They just grab it, and so it has no meaning. No meaning.
So basically then what we're seeing is a mock-up font, but when it goes live, it'll be larger, easier to read.
It'll be the font.
It'll be what we chose.
What we chose, yes.
And then, I'm sorry, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. This list of the kind of a catalog list on the left-hand side, is that something they put together?
Yes.
And I'm wondering...
There was nothing coming from me. None of this came from me.
Okay.
All I said is, we've approved it, I sent everybody a
Sure.
copy, and
Right.
I look forward to your second page.
Okay.
And this is what we got. In fact, if you'd like, I will read you. File inner page JPEG added assigned to change from Samir Ali to Kathy Walker. Hello, Kathy. We have the inner page ready. On the left side of each section, we will have its own navigation. On the right side will be where you add all your content, image, links, and so on. Once we get the final approval on the inner page, we can then start with the development. Thanks, Samir. And I think I sent this to everybody also, if I'm not mistaken.
You did.
Yeah. That's all we got. I think we need to maybe formalize this a little more, like, we want, again, I'll finish my thing after you guys. I'm sorry. Uta?
I'm just typing away, so go on, Jerry.
I looked at it too. I had the same comment as far as the background picture. I kind of was partial to basically the same view, but 180 degrees opposite, looking down the other way, south. But I think they mentioned that it was something that we could change ourselves, just throwing up background pictures. So I don't know if that's something that...
The background pictures we can change. We're going to have, we have 3 background pictures, and that we can, that will be rotating in and out, that we can choose. And I think we did, I think I sent that a couple months ago, which ones everybody liked, 1, 2, and 3. We can change them with the season. We can change them whenever we want. But we do need to know where the place parts with the placeholders, let's say, for the JPEG, like for the page for, let's say, the clerk's office. We want to have, the Clerk Rankus picture there, and then his little bio, and then information, and then have availability to have multiple JPEGs depending on what they want to show, and then verbiage. So we have to know how much of that we can have. I don't think there's a limitation, and they didn't give us any parameters, and I think that's what we need, some parameters. Would everybody agree on that terminology?
Yes.
Because right now, they're just saying, well, we'll throw in some JPEGs. Well, how many will you throw in, and, what can we get? So I can gin something up and send it out to everybody and say, is this enough? Do you think we need more? And then ask them, what is the flexibility that we have with it?
Yeah, because they could actually do like even if you, let's use the clerk's page as an example, you have a photo of Eric, here, and then over here you could even do a carousel of other photos or a document carousel,
Yeah, I agree with you. And even if it was a carousel of the documents, just something, to catch your eye.
Right.
Alrighty, and because I think the word would be disappointed, because this didn't seem to have a lot of effort put into it. But again, we'll work it through, and I will send it out to everybody, just giving some examples, and then sending it back to them, and they can say, oh, yeah, you can do this, or we can change it any way you want, but we don't know that from what we got, from the 2 sentences. So,
And I would say, if you're getting stuff back from them that you think is good and you want to send it to everybody, and we need to call an emergency meeting to approve it, so we can...
actually, that I'm not even worried about. If we get something that we want to jump on, I think everybody can meet for 10 minutes and move forward on that. So that's great. Okay, so I think we're all pretty much in agreement on that. Now the new business. I sent out the year calendar, and I highlighted the dates we are supposed to meet, and I was wondering, what would you like?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is
there any?
I like how you got the different colors.
Is this an inner page that you prefer, Richard? Or
I was looking at inner page that Michigan.gov would use.
okay, well we can reference these, and if anybody likes certain ones, we can go to it. Okay.
If you take a look.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that. If everybody pulls out their calendar, and as it's
Is that in the packet you gave us?
Yes. I think it's right after this. And maybe not for you.
I'll share.
Okay. Well, I'm not real good at this collating. There you go. Okay, it was before it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
When I Xeroxed it, the date we're supposed to meet is like blanked out, so you'll know it's the one. Now, this is June. July, Traditionally, we haven't met, and we can discuss that, but July would be the 9th. August would be the 13th. And a lot of people have expressed an interest in having an earlier meeting. And we want to work around the people that work. And Sharon, I know you've got, would it be all right for August if we met early? Would you be available? Okay. What time in August would you guys want to meet? 4:30, 5 o'clock? What would be good?
That's fine, and even for me, 5 o'clock, even during the school year is okay for me. By 5, I could be here, yeah.
Okay, is 5 good for everybody then?
Yes.
Right now. We can always change it. Okay, well, why don't we...
For now.
For now, why don't we go with, our meetings are going to be at 5 o'clock. If there's a problem, will let us know. We can reschedule. But that way, we've got a time that is a little more agreeable to everybody. And everybody seemed to really like that one we did. That
Yeah,
4:30
that was great.
That was very nice.
Good.
No 7 a.m. meetings? What? No 7 a.m.
No, we didn't have a 7 a.m. meeting. We won't discuss that. I'm not at my best.
So are we meeting in July?
Let's vote. Does everybody feel we need a break for July? Because we'll probably have a little quickie special meeting.
Yeah, I think as long as everything's progressing with the website and you feel comfortable, and if we need to call a special meeting,
Because I know that actually I will not be in town that week, so
Okay.
that I do know already.
Well, that sounds like we're not going to have a quorum. So July is vacation time. Okay. Well,
That sounds extremely good.
Good, that's great, and we should have a break. And we're going to be working on our own. So we've got that, we're now at 5 p.m. for all of our audience. If you're interested in coming, we welcome you, but you'll be coming a little earlier. So that's great, we've got that done.
I have a quick question.
Certainly.
How does that go with the cable department supervisor and the camera crew? Ted, do you think that will work if we meet at 5?
Excellent point.
We are extremely flexible.
Well, even
I
better.
may not look like it, but
All right, that's great. Well, I think that's a big move forward, and I will post these all to the deputy clerk so she knows our new agenda. And I think we're supposed to do it on an annual basis, as Jerry pointed out, and I think it's a good thing. Then there's no wondering when our meetings are. We've got them all set up. All righty, now the discussion regarding the Uniform Video Service local franchise agreements for GI Township cable providers. Mr. Fournier, would you please discuss this item?
I'd like to title this the exercise in futility. Due to the franchise agreement in 2006, there's no longer individual negotiations between townships, villages, Hamels, Little Coves. The state has a franchise. So basically, this is a formality. AT&T, we have an agreement. Basically, they can do basically whatever they want. They can put equipment on right-of-ways, and they don't have to get permission, and they can wire whatever they want to wire out. They can cluster 10 homes and then not do the next neighborhood, whatever makes them money. The advantage to us is that we get 7% of the franchise fee, and basically that's because we have to provide the equipment to send them the signal. We paid I think around $5,000 for the encoder to send them the signal, so the previous board voted to, instead of the 5% franchise fee, to take 2% extra, which was the maximum option. And everything else will stay the same. They do not provide us with a return feed. If we want a return feed to monitor what's going on at AT&T, we have to pay for it. We'd have to pay for the cabling to the township, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, this is just a formality. It's 5 years. It goes to 2019, and in 2019, we'll sign the same agreement.
So basically, they're looking for our approval, and if they don't get it...
It's our approval of what they got the Michigan House to pass.
Yeah.
So,
Does everybody kind of understand that we really have no authority on this, except they want something from us to say we've approved it.
The WOW agreement is just a continuation of the last 15 years franchise agreement that we had with them. Technically, it's a technicality again, because technically there are no franchise agreements. But we've been operating for since actually 8 years on a handshake with them. We called them up and said, well, what's going to happen? They said, we're just going to keep it the same. So we get 5% of the franchise fee from WOW, and we're going to continue to get 5%. Both of these have been reviewed by our attorney, Mr. Assorti, so, and his recommendation is that we sign them and continue. Comcast will be coming down the pike probably next year, but it's so up in the air right now based on Time Warner and Comcast agreeing, and Comcast agreeing with Charter to manage the state of Michigan for Comcast. And there's going to be 25 to 33% transfer of ownership from Comcast to Charter. The only advantage, and it'll be 5% again, the only advantage I really see is that I don't know anything about the Charter management style, but the people I've talked to that have Charter are very happy with it. And to be honest with you, the J.D. Power ratings has Comcast as on the bottom of their, I don't want to use the worst word, but they're pretty close to worst on service provided to customers and customer dissatisfaction.
So it might be a good thing.
The management style and their policies might improve. Comcast will still own the majority of the Michigan franchises, but 25 to 33% will be to Charter, and Charter will be managing.
They're reallocating the territories, and they're clustering them. I think that was the word you used.
Well, clustering is, the cable companies have clustered for years. Years ago, there was Wayne, and there's all kinds of little Bright House and stuff around the area. And what happened is Comcast and Time Warner and Comcast and Bright House, they traded franchise. For instance, if a community like Dearborn Heights had Continental Cable, and they traded that Continental Cable, they clustered somewhere else, and Comcast took over that area, but they got maybe something in Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah.
So they clustered so it was easier to wire and manage. So they've been clustering for years. Basically, they're doing it on a bigger scope, but the real reason they're doing it is because by giving Charter ownership of Michigan, it's giving the appearance of not being a monopoly.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
It's putting a dress on monopolies, so.
But go ahead. No. Since that's not really what our issue tonight. Our issue is just to renew, even though we don't really have an option.
Well, the advantage to the township is that 7% of the fees that the AT&T customer pays on the island come to us, and 5% of WOW's fees come to us, and that's part. And I don't have the exact figures, but over the course of the years, the last year or two, the total franchise fees from all the companies has now gone over 200,000.
Yes.
So thank God for kids just sitting home watching television. It's really paying off in the long run.
Thank you. So does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Ted, I just need
Don't you get Lauren Ullman?
I know.
She's addressed that with me about 6 times.
I know, I hate
And she'll be on me tomorrow.
So, you've clarified part of it. Grosse Ile gets 7% of the franchise fees from AT&T, and we get 5% from WOW,
Right.
and 5% from Comcast.
Right.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I had the numbers right.
Also, I think if you remember way back, we used to get the computer fees too.
Yep.
But I think 03 or 04, the state rule that doesn't have to be part. The fees are just the cable television fees. They're not phone and they're not the computer services.
Anybody else? Could I have a motion, please, to approve the franchise agreements with WOW and AT&T?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the Uniform Video Service local franchise agreement for GA Township cable providers.
And I'll second it.
Richard seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. And the motion passed. Well, that's good. I'll report that in tomorrow. And I know that was one of those little things that have to be taken care of. Okay. We did talk about, the Wi-Fi thing. I'm still digging into that. I think it's gaining steam. Let's leave it at that. People are starting to think more positively about it, so we'll go from there. And our next commission meeting will be August 13th instead of July, August, as we will be taking July off. And we have no visitors, so there is no public comment. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I second it.
And we are adjourned. Yay!
Yay.
Well, that was record time. Who blinked?
Karen, did you move to adjourn?